Hello everyone, Jeff Giles here once again, and this week I'm going to demonstrate the use of mirror EQ in a mixing context. The basic concept behind mirror EQing is if you want to emphasize a certain set of frequencies on one instrument in your mix, you can help those shine through by de-emphasizing the same frequencies or similar frequencies on other instruments in your mix. To illustrate this, I've made a simple drum loop with two different synthesizer patches. Let's hear them both together and solo without any modification of the EQ. So here's the drums and the two synths. I'll pull the drums out. Now I'll solo. There's synth 1. And synth 2. Now I've thought about what I want to emphasize for each of the synthesizers, and in the interest of time I've played around with the EQ and come up with some settings, and I've entered them in already, but then I've turned them off. Since I'm new to mixing and EQing, I've made some pretty significant changes, and I'm going to add those in one by one so you can hear them separately. To start, here we have our EQ set flat for both tracks. Now let's begin with synth 1, and I'm going to leave it playing as I talk. So I've decided I want synth 1 to handle the low end of the frequency range. And in order to keep as much low frequency as possible, and because I don't have to worry about any recording noise in this case, I'm going to leave my high pass filter off. I'm going to set my low shelf for a 6 decibel boost starting around 184 hertz, so more bottom end comes through. I'm going to bring it in now. So I hope you heard that the bass just went up a little bit, the bass response. With my low band filter, I've set a significant boost around 85 hertz to emphasize a frequency that I like the sound of. Here it comes. It brings even more bottom end up. And finally, I'm going to set my low pass filter for quite a sharp drop off at 3350 hertz to take off all those high frequencies. Here we go. So I'm left with quite a different sound than when I started. I'll toggle it on and off for now. No EQ. And with the EQ brought in. So quite a significant shift. Now let's move on to synth number 2. Now I'm going to set the high pass this time to make sure I'm not stepping on any of those bass frequencies I boosted in synth 1. There's the high pass. And I'm also going to bring in my low shelf filter for a cut around 285 hertz. So that takes a significant amount of low end off synth 2, but that's okay because I've got so much low end in synth 1. Now I'm going to use my low band filter to cut 12 dB at 85 hertz to allow that frequency that I boosted from synth 1 to come through even more. Using my low mid-band, I found a mid-range frequency that I want to boost, so I'll do that at 530 hertz. And in order to coax that out more, I'm going to go back to synth 1 and cut the same frequency. So let's bring in synth 1 for a moment. And we'll take synth 1 out. So now we've cut that frequency in synth 1. And finally, I'm going to give my high band boost or I'm going to give my high band on synth 2 a boost at 4450 hertz. And actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to boost the high shelf starting at 2800 hertz to bring in even more top end around this synth. Yeah, so it contrasts more with synth 1. So here's synth 2 at first, and with the EQ changes, that's what it sounds like. So quite a different sound. Now if I bring in my other synth, they're sitting better together. There's a lot more contrast between the two. Once again, here are the two synths with no EQ. And with EQ. So that's mirror EQing. As always, I'm looking forward to your feedback. Take care, folks.